with him, being a little friendly with him. Just he's done a great job as almost coming up with a new theme every year. He's obviously very bright, great vocabulary, so you can kind of pick these great combination of words to give his guys like a piece of meat to go after. And he's done that now, and he almost pulled off 3 championships in a row, which would have been astounding. What's your philosophy going to be for the reset button, a new year, so you can look forward and not back?
Yeah, I think it's winning once is incredibly difficult. Winning twice in a row might be the hardest thing to do in sport at any level because of the natural human nature of the winning team, and then every other team, all 60, 61 teams chasing us, and you see that week in and week out in the college hockey game, playing the same team. It's really hard to sweep teams because of that natural human nature of one team letting their foot off the gas at one on Friday, going into Saturday, and then the team on Saturday playing with a ton of desperation. So I think it's, for us, a lot of what we've talked about is obviously turning the page from last year, talking about it openly. Like you said, this is something that'll never be able to be taken away. We have a ring dinner on the 25th of September. We have our banner raising actually against Providence. Not our first game of the year, but I believe it's our 6th game of the year. So there's going to be little moments where, as we told our guys in the spring, there's going to be moments where you get to look back and really enjoy what we did. But you have to park that when that moment is over, whether it's the ring dinner or the banner raising or whatever fun event that we did this past year to celebrate the championship. And, I think in college, what makes things maybe a little bit easier is just the natural turnover. We have 9 new people who haven't won anything with us. They want to come in to our program, and they want to leave their mark. And I think that's really exciting. We also had 9 people leave, a lot of really good players that other guys who are in our program want to step up, and they're hungry to take some of those minutes and to play a bigger role in those types of things. So from that standpoint, I think there's a natural turning of the page in college, where in pro it is a lot harder when you have your core is really staying the whole time. And I would just share too is, I appreciate a lot of what Coop has to say, and look up to him in a great deal. And, one of the things that we're talking about with our group is just staying humble and staying hungry. And, don't let the championship change your approach and how we build as a team, how you treat people, how you do things away from the rink. And you have to stay hungry to get back to the top of the mountain, because everyone is now chasing us. And I think one last piece is that we're tied with Michigan for 9 championships. And we believe that we have an opportunity to be the first program to 10, and it's something that we want to do. And so I think there's an internal drive within our program and in our dressing room that our guys would feel really special to be able to try and do something like put the 10th banner up in Magnus Arena and be the first program to do that. Certainly not easy, but a challenge that we're excited for.
Yeah, I think athletes need carrots, and they want carrots. They want a good one, and if you give it to them, that certainly helps the focus. What about bringing freshmen on board at Denver? What's your philosophy? Are you have some tenets that you just are absolutely, this is the way it is? How do you approach welcoming new players to the program?
Yeah, I think, the biggest thing is making them feel welcome as quickly as possible from the coaches and then from their peers. So treating them the right way and building relationships with them, I think is critical, because you always grow really at the rate that your freshmen get acclimated into college hockey. And if we can accelerate that timeline, it's only going to help our team. And so that's a lot of what we talk about with our leadership group and our older players in trying to welcome in the freshmen and get them over to your houses, go for lunches, go for dinners with them, hang out with them. We place them strategically around the locker room so that they're, sitting next to veteran guys, and just get a little bit of a presence that way with them. And I think the other major thing that we do is we bring them here, as many programs do, but we bring them in the summertime for 6 weeks to train and skate, and they get to be around a lot of our pro alumni who make Denver their home now, and train with Matt Shaw here in the summertime. So I think when they come in now in September, school started this week on the 13th, they're able to hit the ground running and have a high level of success early on, which again closes that learning curve for them and really helps our team build quicker than it would otherwise.
What about recruiting? Now, obviously, we've seen teams, whether it be BU or Minnesota, they get enthralled with multiple number one draft pick, 18-year-olds, 19-year-olds, haven't had tournament success. Where we've seen a Union, a Quinnipiac, certainly Minnesota Duluth, older teams. Obviously, they sprinkle in a young guy, and they find a way to do that. And they have I think Scott Sandlin does that really well. We'll have guys around the 100-game mark in college, but then always sometimes it's a whole line of young guys, just trying to
Yeah.
getting them ready for the next step. What's your philosophy? Your team didn't have any first-round picks last year, and you're going up against squads with 5.
Yeah.
So what's your process? Is that going to change, or is that something you really believe in?
No, I mean, I think we have 4 first rounders in the program's history. I think we're probably a blend. We try and be a blend of the two,
Mm-hmm.
because I think we had 12, 13 draft picks. So it's not like we didn't
Right.
have our share of talent, but we're also the 3rd youngest team in the country last year too. So we're not the old veteran team, but we're also not the team that's going to lose a bunch of one and dones or two and dones.
Mm-hmm.
So we try and find that sweet spot in the middle where you do have some NHL picks and but you also supplement them with some really good 4-year college players. A Justin Lee who hopefully signs an NHL contract after this season. Is someone that comes to mind in that regard. A Cam Wright who was never drafted, scores 23 goals for us last season, a transfer out of Bowling Green. And so I think Denver's always had a really nice ability to blend, having some NHL picks, but having some really good 19-year-old, not necessarily 21-year-old freshmen, but some 19-year-old and 20-year-old freshmen that are high-end players that can come in and contribute from day one at the college level. So for us, the recipe has kind of always been there at Denver. We felt it to be foolish to try and change that. It worked, for George. It worked for Monty. It's working for my staff, and I think we got a good thing going. And our plan is to continue to try and do that. We think it gives us the best chance to have success year in and year out, and be a high level team that can compete for championships every year. And you're not dealing with the constant turnover, the ups and the downs that you would if you have 5, 6 first round picks on your team.
Certainly, managing crisis and adversity is a big deal for any coach in any situation. We talked about the 4-game losing streak last year. Was that the most acute level of adversity last season? Was there something else behind the scenes that you had to deal with? Looking back to last year, what was that moment where it could have gone wrong or the other way?
Yeah. I think certainly the 4-game losing streak comes to mind. I think the other one would have been end of January, early February. We were at Miami. We were down 2 goals late in the game. We actually went 4-on-4, pulled the goalie, so they couldn't ice it. So it was a 5-on-4. We scored 2 goals to tie it, 1 in overtime. I think that was a game that, again, was a big one for our team and building belief that we were never out of a hockey game. We take care of business the next night and win 4-2. And then the very next weekend, we're St. Cloud at home, who went to the championship game the year before, returns a lot of the same players. It was our first time playing them. They looked like a team all year that was just, you felt like they were going to find their footing at some point, but they struggled really to get it going on all cylinders. And they came into our building. They were up 3-0 after 1 on Friday night. And again, our guys, they did not shy away from the conflict or the adversity. They dug in, and we won the game 8-5. Came back and played really well, and then won the next night 2-0 in a real defensive struggle. So those are a couple moments that stand out. And then the last one would just be losing in the NCHC frozen faceoff to Duluth. We got shut out 2-0. And again, a team that obviously has a lot of pedigree in the last few years of winning those types of games and getting hot at the right time. And, I think for us to have to quickly turn the page from that game to Lowell and then play Duluth again the very next weekend and beat them 2-1. Obviously, the way our guys handled that was was exceptionally well. And so those would be some moments where I thought our backs were against the wall, and our guys responded, and I think gave themselves and gave our staff a lot of belief that we'd be able to do something special.
Yeah, it's a fine line. You mentioned the word humility, and you don't want to be too humble where you lose your confidence. And those comebacks you mentioned, certainly that's the foundation when you go on to win the championship like you did and how you did in
Yeah.
Boston. You have a great staff, of course, on the bench with you in Denver. Tavis McMillan, you mentioned Dallas Ferguson as well. These guys have been head coaches before. And that's the thing. You coming in as a young guy, and maybe there's a young high school coach or prep school coach, and they're in their late 20s or something. They get a chance, and maybe the guys on the bench next to them, the men or the women, are older, have more experience. But you're the guy, and you have to be the guy, and you have to be the man in charge. What's that dynamic like, where the people next to you might actually have more experience than you do, but you're the head coach?
Yeah, it's I'd be lying to you if I said it was easy.
Yeah.
I think it's something that when you're going into year five, we've been working together for 4 years now. There's a real great continuity amongst us. But early on, yeah, I mean, it is a challenge being 28 years old, and but a part of why I wanted these guys there too was that they have had head coaching experience. They've seen different things in life and in hockey that I have not seen before, and I think a philosophy should always be to try and hire people that you believe to be smarter than you, and to use their experience, because they're just things that I don't know, and that's the truth, and that's the reality. And if you can have good people around you that are trustworthy and honest and humble and good people, then I just think it makes transitions in challenging times even easier. And so that's what those two have really brought to the table for me. One, are they older? Yeah, but they're still great at connecting with young people. They're great at connecting with families and recruiting. And they're really bright hockey minds that I think push myself and our program forward on a daily basis. And I'm really blessed to have them. And we've been blessed to have that continuity with our staff going into year five, being together. I think it's played a big part in our stability and our success since we've taken over.
That's awesome. Well, this has been a great conversation, Dave. A nice, clean 30 minutes for coaches, hopefully, to listen to your story. It's an interesting story, some great lessons that any coach can use to deal with adversity, to manage a team, to certainly forgive each other once in a while when you kind of go off the handle emotionally, as we all do. But really a great year in 2022. And again, you guys have the squad to do it back to back. We're going to Tampa next time. Last time we were there, North Dakota won it all. So maybe, hopefully, we'll see you there in Tampa, Florida next April.
Yeah, we'd love to be back. We were unfortunately on the wrong end of it in 16, but
Right.
It's a great venue, and I'd encourage all college hockey fans to get down there. It's one of the best venues for Frozen Four that's out there.
It really is. People hear Florida and they kind of scoff. It's in maybe some places in Florida, but that's a great rink and a great setting. You might as well make
Yeah.
your plans now. If the team doesn't make it, you go anyway because the weather's good
Yeah.
and the hockey's good. So, David Carl, really, you're off to a great start in your coaching career. So much success so far, and looking forward to so much more in the future. Really admire from afar what you've done, and good luck in the future.
Awesome. Thanks, John. Appreciate your time today.
You bet.